Hello everyone, welcome back to the Vegan Proteins YouTube channel. My name is Coach Ben, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the 5 things that transformed my physique. Now, before I get into the topic for today, if you are not already subscribed to the channel, I'm going to ask you if you'd like to see more videos from us and you like this kind of content, vegan, fitness related things, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Yes, you. I know you didn't hit it. Pause the video, hit the subscribe button. You know you want to see more stuff from us. Now, getting into the topic of the video, the first thing that transformed my physique is following a structured program. Now, some people are going to need something a little bit different when it comes to how long they can follow a set program for. Some people need a little bit more variety, and that's okay. However, if you can, I would encourage you to keep your program mostly the same for long periods of time. There's a couple reasons of this. One, you can actually see what is working. You don't know what's working if you're constantly switching things all the time. Secondly, you get used to the exercises, the order of the exercises, you learn the technique better, and it just allows for smoother progressions overall, which, speaking of progressions, when you're in the gym, you should be writing down everything that you're doing. How many sets you did, how many reps, what weight you were using. You could also write down your effort level, so how hard that given set felt. All of these things are going to be ways to quantify your progress, and I've just seen it time and time again that the folks who are able to follow the same or mostly the same training program for a long time really dial in their lifting technique and just the way that they perform the program as a whole. They tend to get really linear, great results. Now, that doesn't mean that the amount of gains that you see at the start is going to be equivalent to as you continue to progress, especially if you're new to the gym. We know that newbie gains is a phenomenon that is widely observed. However, I think it allows for more consistent, steady progress if you're able to keep things mostly the same. You're following a program, you know what you're doing. Having a coach can be really helpful there. So quick plug for Vegan Proteins coaching. That's what we do. We work one-on-one with people and we help them figure out what program they should be following, if they should be in the gym 6 days a week, 3 days a week, what exercises they should be doing, all of that. Now, speaking of what exercises they should be doing, that brings me to my second point, which is exercise selection. I'm going to give a personal example that is really relevant to me. The first couple years of lifting, I trained mostly with free weights, mainly because I thought that I had to, and there are a lot of myths about free weights versus machines. And I found that over time, I actually really enjoyed training with machines and cables, a little bit of dumbbell stuff, but not a ton of stuff with the barbell, even though the barbell can be a great tool for a lot of people. If you're into kind of powerlifting or power building, combination of powerlifting and bodybuilding, a barbell is a great tool and one that you'll need to get familiar with. However, for myself, with squatting, for instance, I found that I could never really get my squat comfortable. I would adjust my feet. I would adjust the way that I performed it, turning them out, turning them in, watching a ton of technique videos, trying over and over and reworking my form in the gym. And it just never really seemed to hit my legs the way that a leg press did or a split squat did or some of these other compound quad variations. And the first time that I ever tried the hack squat machine, I was like, oh, this is how a squat is supposed to feel, because I could adjust my feet up and down and my torso would stay upright and the same. And I was able to get a ton of range of motion, a ton of knees over toes, knee flexion at my quads. And it was just a whole different sensation. And I stuck with that exercise for a long time. I got really strong in it. And I noticed that my quads really blew up, I guess you could say. It's a bit of a hyperbole, but I noticed a huge change in how they were looking, how strong I was. And that was a revelation for me that not all exercises fit all people. So you have to be willing to not be married to a certain exercise and just understand that, hey, certain exercises, yeah, most exercises are going to work for most people, but there are nuances there, and it's okay to pick one that's working the same muscle groups, but just doing it in a different way. And there's no one right way to train a muscle group. Now, when you are training a certain muscle group or a certain exercise, this brings me to my third point, which is filming your sets. This is something I ask clients to do all the time, is to film their sets, send me their sets, There's a couple reasons for this. One is providing the actual feedback on how the movement is being executed. Hey, you know, move your hand a little bit this way, tuck this, see if you can adjust kind of your scapular rhythm. Can we get a little bit more range of motion? Can we slow down the tempo? There's tons of different adjustments and tweaks that you can make that actually make a pretty big difference in how that exercise feels and how those muscles end up getting worked. So filming your sets, I know everyone is not necessarily comfortable doing that, especially if you train in a commercial gym. Certain gyms have certain rules, but usually if you're respectful, you ask the gym or you find out their policy, you try not to get people in the frame. I've almost never had issues with it, even in larger, more packed commercial gyms. It doesn't mean that you have to film every set all the time, but I would say at least film your last set and see kind of what your technique looks like, because that's when you're going to be the most fatigued and the most likely to maybe alter the way that you're performing it. The reps should look pretty much similar start to finish, other than the speed that which they take to perform, because as you approach failure or fatigue, the speed is going to slow down despite you still applying that maximum effort. So that's a way to see, you know, are you training as intensely as you think you are? Often you watch back a set and you're like, that felt really hard in the moment, but I could see it looks like I probably still had a few more reps. And so it keeps you honest, it keeps you accountable. If you have somebody that you're working with, a personal trainer or a coach, they can give you feedback there as well. And then you can see how your technique improves or changes over time. And it can be kind of like a balance and check system where you can see, am I still using the same technique that I was 8 weeks ago? Or have I started to cheat myself a little bit and I think that I'm progressing, but actually I've just made my technique a little bit worse to allow me to move the weight. So that's going to be the third one, is taking videos of yourself and keeping a catalog so that you can see how your form is progressing over time. Now, the next thing that I would say transformed my physique is tracking my body weight every single day. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a strange one, but what I'm trying to convey with this is usually we want to be having a certain goal for whatever phase that we're in. The 3 goals that are the most common for the people that I work with are intentional fat loss, in which you're targeting a certain rate of weight loss over X number of weeks. Body recomposition, which you're mostly trying to maintain your weight in a range of, let's say, 4 to 6 pounds. Depends on the individual and its scales. And then you have somebody who's in a build and we're trying to slowly increase their body weight over time in the hopes of providing a caloric surplus and fueling the muscle building process. Having your body weight really helps with knowing where are we going based on this phase. Are we actually doing what we think we're doing? It serves as kind of a confirmation for what we're doing nutritionally and with the amount of expenditure that we're doing. So if we're trying to be in a fat loss phase, but we don't know that our weight is maintaining, then we're not actually in a fat loss phase most likely. We could be losing body fat and just kind of maintaining our weight and then putting on muscle. But then again, that would be more of a body recomposition in which you'd want to have pictures and measurements to confirm as well. But what the scale does is it just allows you to know, am I doing what I need to be doing in terms of my energy balance? So am I in a deficit? Am I in a surplus? And based on your goals, I think it's helpful to have a concrete idea of which one you want to be doing. And with nutrition, tracking is something that can help dial in the accuracy of that, but not everybody has to necessarily track based on their goals. I would say that if you know you're getting a certain amount of protein in, and then your body weight is going up or down at an appropriate rate, then you know that your calories are on point. Let's say you're trying to gain a half a pound every single week. That would theoretically put you in a 250 calorie surplus. So you could try to back calculate your maintenance, add that much food to your meal plan, and then see if you're going up at that rate. But if you're not tracking your food and you're still going up at that rate, you've achieved the desired goal. So tracking is a way to get you there, but the outcome that we're really after is a certain rate of gain or loss, and nutrition is the tracking our food or whatever plan we have with nutrition is how we get there. So I think something that I could have said was tracking your nutrition, but if what you're doing right now doesn't involve that, you know you're getting enough protein because maybe you've tracked a couple days here and there and you're losing or gaining at an appropriate rate, you're probably all good. And I've definitely noticed that I've made the most progress when I have been in an intentional build or an intentional deficit. Of course, there's going to be times where it might look a little bit more like maintenance. You might do a body recomposition and you don't have those concrete goals. I've definitely had that myself, and I think it's useful for those times where you don't know what you want to do next, kind of just holding steady. but I've definitely seen my most progress when it comes to muscle building when I'm in a at least slight caloric surplus. And then once I get to a body fat level where I'm no longer super comfortable, I might do a maintenance phase and then go through a fat loss phase and kind of reset that process of giving myself room to then go back into a build. And that isn't to say that everybody has to do this. Certainly, if you kind of just held the same body weight over time, a healthy body weight for you, you'll definitely be putting on muscle and getting leaner over time. It's just a little bit more of a slow, gradual process. And if you're okay with that, that's totally cool. Now, the last thing that I would say transforms my physique is continuing education. This one is huge. I would say that a large proportion of my free time, given that I'm a fitness professional and I work in this industry, is spent consuming content. It's consuming social media content, podcasts, YouTube videos, reading articles. Mass Research Review is one of those articles, a research review compiled by experts in the field who take new bits of scientific publications that are coming out and really narrow them down to the concise applications. If you need resources or you're unfamiliar with where to start, obviously here at Vegan Proteins, we're a great resource for all things vegan bodybuilding, nutrition, etc. Where you want to take this kind of depends on the level that you're at and where you are in your journey. However, if you provide some more context down in the comments, I'd be happy to kind of go through and provide feedback for where I think you could go with resources and podcasts on nutrition topics, on training topics, on general health topics. It really depends on what you're interested in. However, I would say continuing to be a lifelong learner and having that trait is really helpful, because when we get stuck in our knowledge, then when we maybe hit a plateau in what we're doing with our application, we don't know where to go from there, because maybe what we've always done has worked for us up to a given point. And you can gain knowledge through experience, but experience is limited, and bringing in all different experiences. I mean, that's what research is. You take the experience of 20 or 30 or 40 or hundreds or thousands of whoever is in this study, then you're going to have more ideas and more tools in the toolbox about how to go forward. And that's been huge for me. So I would definitely recommend continuing to learn and not getting stagnant or complacent with where you're at when it comes to your knowledge of whatever realm you're trying to improve in. So that is going to do it for the video. Those are 5 things that I feel like have transformed my physique over the years. I would love to know if there's anything that you would like to add. What has really made the difference for you over the years? I'd love to hear that down in the comment section below. If you are looking to get in the best shape of your life, that's what we do here at Vegan Proteins. We work one-on-one with our clients in order to get them the best results that we possibly can get them. So if you're interested, you can find us on social media at Muscles by Brussels, at Vegan Proteins. My Instagram is at Ben A. Mitchell. You can reach out to us, coach@veganproteins.com. If you're interested, you can head over to our website to learn more about our offerings, including one-on-one coaching. And again, if you want to see more content from us, subscribe, like, comment, do all those things that I'm supposed to tell you at the end of the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hello, Ben from the future here. So we are going to be taking a 2-week content break here at Vegan Proteins. We do this to allow ourselves a chance to refresh, to come back rejuvenized and refocused, and continue to make content for all of you. So if you're wondering where we are over these next 2 weeks, that's where we'll be. And we look forward to seeing you after that. Thank you for understanding.